All right. All right. We're starting the City Council meeting for the City of Sonoma this August 6, 2025. And we are going to start with everybody. We are going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, which is kind of normally what we do. So please stand as you are able. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and City Clerk Barr, would you please do the roll call?
Vice Mayor Wellander.
Here.
Councilmember Lowe.
Present.
Councilmember Gurney.
Here.
Mayor Farrar-Rivas.
Here.
Thank you, and we'll let the record show that Councilmember Ding is absent this evening.
Thank you. So there was no closed session tonight, so there is no report on the closed session. So I'm going to ask now if any member of the council has any changes they'd like to make to the agenda. All right.
I move approval of the agenda.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the agenda is approved unanimously. All right, so now we are going to open this up for comments from the public. And before we do that, can I just get a show of hands to see how many members are here that want to make? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we have 10 minutes for this, but because there's 7 and generally people come up, it's 2 minutes for each person. Yes?
Before we start public comment, I just want to make sure that everyone's aware that City Attorney is present via
Yes.
Zoom and is part of the meeting. Just want to make sure that everyone was aware of that.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Rudeman, wherever you are. All right, okay.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Okay.
You can tell because the microphone's too high.
Yeah, I know. I think I gotta get this going. Okay, here we go. All right. Josette Brose-Eicher, 1110 Loma Court. From the agenda of April 19th, 2023 meeting, David Eowyn was not yet city manager. From the staff report, Linder, interim city manager regarding Spark. In the 10 months since opening from April through February 2023, total cannabis business taxes were $150,000. Councilmember Farrar-Rivas, quote, "So we have all those answers and set a date as to when we can revisit so that we're not just saying we're going to push this down the road, but we are going to go through a process and let's wait and before setting a date. But it's either, 6 months or a year," unquote. Well, it's been over 2 years since the meeting and still no RFP for a second dispensary. On May 28th, 3 of us met with City Manager Eowyn, and we were told that he would not place this on the agenda, that it really was up to the City Council. We should not wait for the next goal-setting session. This is something that is well-defined, and the City Council can do it right now. It's a win for local consumers like me, tourism, and the city in terms of revenue. There's no reason to continue to believe Spark has financial issues and must remain the only dispensary in Sonoma. Spark opened another dispensary in Napa where there's no cap on the number of dispensaries. So this excuse from them is quite frankly ridiculous. As for that dispensary at Big Bend, Mr. Lowe is in bankruptcy and living in his one dispensary. Keep in mind that Sonoma Valley residents are informed and boycott businesses owned by those that spew racism, threaten customers with tasers or firearms. So no, that's not our second dispensary. And I got 16 seconds, so there's a really good editorial about city budget in the Sun that David Bowling wrote. I urge you all to check it out and read it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Josette.
Hello, David Eicher. Besides Mayor Farrar-Rivas saying that bring the second dispensary back in 6 months to a year, I'd like to read some more quotes from the April 19th, 2023 meeting. Then Mayor Lowe, quote, "I don't think that means we're closing off the discussion. I'm hearing Councilmember Ding wanting to bring this back and look at some financials," unquote. Councilmember Wellander, quote, "That doesn't mean that a year from now or 6 months from now, when something else comes back online and we're beginning to see the impacts, that we can make a more thoughtful decision," unquote. Mayor Lowe, quote, "Well, we've identified a few things that we want brought back at some point, and we'll put that on an agenda and bring these things back and take a look," unquote. So, you have the city council directing staff to put a second dispensary on the agenda in 6 months to a year. That was over 2 years and 3 months ago. Just think of how much cannabis sales tax and that a second dispensary could have brought into the city in 2 years. Tens of thousands, 100,000, 200,000, more. It's time to get your questions to staff and agendize the second dispensary. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eicher.
Good evening. My name is Janet Boyle, and I'm a resident of Sonoma. I'm here tonight to respectfully express my concern about the general plan update process, specifically as it relates to the Sebastiani property. I raise this issue tonight for 2 reasons. First, as I mentioned at the last city council meeting, one of the general plan task force members is also listed as part of the development team working for the Foley family who own the Sebastiani winery property. It appears he is actively involved, perhaps in a paid capacity, in advancing a potential project on that site. This dual role raises concerns about influence and whether the general plan outcomes are being shaped by individuals with a direct financial interest in future development. Second, another member of that same development team, also working for the Foley family, informed our neighborhood group that draft changes to the development code will be presented at the upcoming September 8th General Plan Task Force meeting. Well, I sincerely appreciate JJ sharing that information. I have to ask, how did he know that? The agenda for that meeting has not been published yet. In fact, to quote on the city's general plan website, it currently states, and I quote, "An agenda for this meeting will be posted to the city's portal in advance of the meeting date." Whew, I had to run from 3 sticks. That's why I had to park my car. As someone who attends nearly every meeting and tries diligently to stay informed, I did not have that information, which means that most likely the 699 residents who have already signed our petition on this very issue don't have it either. I've asked the same question now for 6 months. The first time I came here, I think, was February 5th, so 6 months to yesterday. I've asked the same question for 6 months here at the council, at the planning commission, and even in a meeting we had with Jennifer Gates. How do concerned residents like myself get our feedback truly heard and incorporated into this process? I still don't have an answer. Please help protect what makes Sonoma special, help preserve our safety, our character, and our quality of life. That's why we all chose to call this place home. Thank you for your time, your service, and for listening.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Perry Ellis Paniawa. I reside at 1140 Beasley Way in Sonoma. I'm a 34-year resident of Sonoma. Currently, we have 33, at last count, wine tasting rooms just around the plaza alone. I have seen little discussion about any of them. Approval barely took any time, yet these many years since I joined the Sonoma Valley Cannabis Group, we are still trying to get an approval, or we have the approval of a second dispensary. The RFP was approved at least 3 years ago. And why is this? Why are we allowing one operator a monopoly? I attended every greet and meet session and the Sonoma Tribune's candidate question and answer panels, goal planning meetings. I have participated in a very successful postcard brigade, have spoken, emailed, written letters, and each of you spoke about supporting the medical benefits of cannabis, but best as I can describe, we are being stonewalled. Nothing is moving forward. We are told that we have to start from square one every time a new council member is approved or a new city manager comes into town. Please stop this monopoly. The right thing to do is open a second dispensary, which provides more economic opportunity for the city, and instead of passing another sales tax increase. So I would like to say that I don't believe that we need to start from square one. A city planner knows what to do. The process has been executed before, so it shouldn't be anything new.
Thank you,
All right.
Perry, if you want to
Stop
finish that
kicking
sentence.
the can down the road, please. Thank you.
Gil Latimer, Grant Court, Sonoma. Good evening. 3 years ago, this council promised Sonoma residents 2 dispensaries. Today, we have 1, and a controversy that draws unwanted attention to our city's governance. The current monopoly hurts our community in measurable ways. Medical patients lack backup access when supply runs short. Residents pay monopoly prices without competition. Our city loses potential tax revenue that could fund essential services. Meanwhile, neighboring Napa captures cannabis tourism dollars with multiple dispensaries, while we artificially limit ours. This isn't about business. It's about trust. The media coverage and community discussions have highlighted serious concerns about how the second dispensary was blocked. Campaign contributions, lobbying conflicts, and backroom influence have overshadowed what should be a straightforward policy decision. A second dispensary offers Sonoma concrete benefits, additional jobs for local residents, increased tax revenue for city services, geographic convenience for different neighborhoods, and competitive pricing that protects consumers. Most importantly, it restores faith that this council serves all residents, not just connected insiders. Sonoma's character isn't threatened by fair competition. It's enhanced by it. Cannabis retail, like our boutique wineries, can reflect our community's values of quality and local entrepreneurship. The original ordinance allowed 2 dispensaries because competition serves the public interest. Honor that commitment. Give Sonoma residents the choice and competition you promised. Demonstrate that merit, not connections, drives policy in our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Van Solkov. I'm a business owner here in the city of Sonoma. I run a tourism business, and we run wine and cannabis tours, separate entities, but we love what we do. If I want to take people to a winery in Sonoma area, that's a piece of cake. It's easy. If I want to take people to a cannabis dispensary in the Sonoma area, that is a complete and total cluster. Lowe's insane. No one will go there. Eric's unethical, and his place is a dive bar relative to the myriad of opportunities that await right down Highway 12 in the city of Santa Rosa. So, that's what we do. We take our Sonoma tourists, we put them in our vehicles, we drive them to Santa Rosa, where they spend thousands of dollars before coming back to Sonoma for their evening. And that's because there's no choice here in the city of Sonoma. And that's because the city has fallen on itself by not moving forward with the process that's already been approved. Okay? And this is stupid. Let's be honest. It's ridiculously stupid. I spend time and money taking my guests to Santa Rosa, and I would just assume take them here. Again, nut boy out at the Circle. I'm not taking my guests into that place. And an unethical sleazeball is the only operator in town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Armando Zimmerman, West Spain Street. On 5/18/22, our neighborhood filed a traffic hazard report. Updates came about a year later, and then another one approximately a year later. I'm here tonight to ask for some help in appealing the process that we've had to deal with in terms of Public Works and the Traffic Safety Committee, both. It's not just the outcomes. The other night, at the last meeting that we attended, my wife and I, we were given the decision that basically came from the traffic safety engineer, the contract engineer, and the test group. And that was given to me at the same time that it's presented to the public people that sit on the dais for traffic safety. No time to prepare and whatever. So basically, as usual, I was run out of there because my 3 minutes were up. We've spent 3 years trying to deal with this, and my 3 minutes were off. My wife seated me 3 minutes, and then I used 2 more minutes after that. So basically, I was going to be ejected. I basically am saying that 6 of the recommendations that were in the memorandum, the technical memorandum done by the city contract engineer, there were 6 of them. I not only want to appeal the process, but also 2 of the items in particular. And one of them galls me at the end. Well, both of them do. But the second one is that he's recommending to the Traffic Safety Committee that they not use recommendations that are now in the process of being recommended by the Sonoma General Plan.
Under
Circulation.
I'll give you a few more seconds, but I'm
Okay,
asking you to
okay.
wrap up, please.
Circulation recommendations for recommendations, and the city engineer is basically telling the committee, "Oh, don't follow some of those." So that has further implications that our particular traffic case safety report, but it has implications toward our general plan update, and it also has implications with the noise element, the circulation element, and
Thank you, Anders. Appreciate it.
yeah.
Okay. So I just wanted to, and it looks like Janet is not here, but I wanted to see if we could answer her question in regards to how best make sure that comments are getting into the process. And I know she's not here. I was hoping she would stay, but why don't we go ahead and answer that anyway?
Sure. The opportunities to comment on the general plan draft elements as they are released. The main one is to sign up for updates to get information as we release agendas and elements. And then also to provide comments to general plan at sonomacity.org. And all those comments staff receives and then puts up on our document center online.
Thank you. All right, we're going to be moving on now. So I'm just going to ask now if there's any meeting dedications. Ron? No? All right. All right, and now we're going to do council members' reports and comments. Do we have any reports and comments? I'm going to start with Councilmember Gurney.
Really just a comment. Last night was a city party, and it seemed to me that everybody had a fabulous time, and I thought that the music was great. The venue you can't beat, and I just want to congratulate everybody involved in putting that on for a job well done. Very nice event.
Councilwoman Lowe.
Thank you. I was able to attend the Hall of Flowers preview, which is the Thursday night before the opening of the county fair. I'd never been to that particular event, but it's a scholarship
program for agriculture students, and I was really enthused to see all the young agriculture students who were there, the colleges that they're going to attend, what they're going to focus on. And it's just so important to our county that we preserve that tradition, that culture, and those jobs. And then also the Hall of Flowers was to be there the night before. You know, every single flower was perfect, and I encourage everybody to go there. The theme is about puppies and kitties and so forth. It's just adorable. So it was wonderful. Thank you.
Councilmember Wellander. Vice Mayor Wellander. Let's get it right.
I had the opportunity to go to the Water Advisory Council on Monday, and I will not bore you with all the entire meeting, but there were 3 things that stood out. One is that our water supply for entering into the beginning of the month of August is looking very good. The second very positive thing was that there has been a reduction in water usage. So once again, it appears that we're being good stewards. And I thought I had a third one, but I don't, so it'll be just 2.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. And I also concur with Councilmember Gurney. It was the party seemed like it was a success and people had a very good time. So I have 3, I will do them very quickly. So on, I'm going to try to do them in order, but if not. So on July 23rd, I attended the Sonoma Valley Citizens Advisory Commission meeting, and at that meeting there was a discussion about the Cassidy Farm, which is on 22661 South Central Avenue. And they were there asking, they would like to add, they have a 5-acre farm, they have an organic winery, and they're asking to add a tasting room to that property. And so it was, the advisory commission does not make decisions, but they're able to advise or make a recommendation. And they recommended that this be approved because it's been a family farm for years. They're first-time farmers, but so this is exactly the type of wineries, small family wineries and small family agriculture that we want to approve. So they're making that recommendation. I attended on July 30th. I went to an event which was put on by the Girls and Boys Club, and they have their leadership group, their Keystone Leadership Summit. And so there was 20 students that came to the county offices, and I was there myself, and Tracy Crumpkin, who's with the district director for the majority leader, Cecilia Aguiar-Curry, and Brendan Sweeney from Congressman Thompson's office. And they did a roundtable of questions with each of us, and I was really very amazed at the issues that came up from the students. Them wanting more mentoring, more access to information about opportunities for jobs and other opportunities. Mental health services was big for them. Safety concerns. They had a lot of safety concerns they wanted to talk about, especially 5th Street West crossing. They were very specific. Need for more public transportation, increased access to sports opportunities, affordability in both housing and food, more housing, desire for more fast food. I encouraged more healthy fast food, a place to hang out. You know, they love the Tuesday night markets, but when it's not happening, where can they hang out? Opportunities for the youth voices to be heard, and asking what the city is doing to support the immigrant community. So they were very well prepared. They presented themselves very well. It was mostly youth from the Latino community. And it was just really encouraging to meet with them and hear their concerns, and for them to be so eloquent in how they presented themselves. And then on July 19th, I attended a meeting that was put on by the Sonoma Catalyst Fund and the Sonoma Valley Collaborative, the Rapid Response Network, and La Luz, and the Sonoma Immigrant Services on how to be an ally. That was a very good meeting of the community members at the Vintage House, and that went very well, and people were very appreciative of all the information. So that's my report. So now we will move on and we will ask if we have a report from our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple quick things. One, I appreciate the acknowledgement of the city party. It was a great event. We were out there, and I do want to acknowledge one of the city staff, Lisa Jansen, for her work on pulling that together, and then also the committee that worked with us to pick out the bands this year. So that was a new approach we tried, and so hopefully we'll continue that as into future years. The budget book is now live, so if you're interested to see the city's budget, it's online, it's live. You can see that and interact with it. It's a new version, a new approach this year to try to make it more transparent in terms of what our budget is and how our funds are being spent. And then also you may have noticed when you pulled in, there's some traffic out there. Transcendence Theater is back for their August performance starting tomorrow night. They're doing a dress rehearsal tonight. And at the last meeting, we heard some comments from the public about some concerns about sound. So we are holding a community meeting tomorrow at noon here at the EOC to provide a forum to hear some of the additional concerns about sound and have a sound engineer there to listen as well, so we can bring that back to council about what we're going to do to help mitigate that as we move forward. So if anybody wants to join there, we'll be there tomorrow at noon in the EOC. And that's all I have for you tonight.
And the EOC is just right around the corner, this building, the end room on this building. So, and then I am going to ask our city attorney, there he is, good to see your face, if you have any comments that you'd like to make tonight.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I did want to just highlight an interesting piece of legislation that's moving through the legislature right now in Sacramento, SB 707. It may have been mentioned at a previous meeting. It's a pretty large revision to the Brown Act that we're looking at. It's gotten some press. I know the Cal Cities has it on its watch list. The Special District Association has come out against it. One of the main things it proposes to do is require all meetings to have a remote function for public participation. So essentially a Zoom option for public participation. However, it turns out that at this point, based on the way that the bill is written, that would not apply in Sonoma County to the city of Sonoma. It only applies to cities of a population of 30,000 or more, or to cities that are located within a county that has a population of 600,000. And I believe Sonoma County has less than 500,000 at this point. But there are some other interesting provisions in SB 707. As you know, when we, for example, make amendments to the city manager's contract compensation, we have to give an oral report about that. 707 would apply that same rule to department heads. It would extend the period of time that someone could contest a potential Brown Act violation would increase the amount of time that they could look back on that. And it would also amend council members' ability to appear remotely. So currently, if someone has a just cause or an emergency circumstance, a council member can appear via Zoom without having to post notice at their location. SB 707 would remove the emergency circumstance provision, which is the one that requires the council approve it, and would actually broaden the just cause. So essentially subsume both of them into just cause, which I think makes a lot of sense. But anyway, this bill is currently in appropriations right now, so we are watching it. We'll keep you updated, but did want to highlight that main issue regarding remote participation of the public wouldn't, at this point, apply to Sonoma. That's it.
Thank you very much. All right, and now we actually have a presentation this evening, and we have a presentation that is a proclamation recognizing August 3rd through the 9th of 2025 as National Health Center Week in the city of Sonoma. And so the proclamation, which is rather lengthy, so I may not read it all, but I'll try to get most of I'll get the highlights out there. So whereas nearly 60 years, the community health centers have delivered high quality, affordable, and comprehensive primary and preventative care to medically underserved communities, now serving more than 32.5 million Americans in over 16,000 locations nationwide. And whereas, as the largest primary care network in the United States, health centers are the healthcare home for 1 in 10 Americans, often serving as the only accessible and dependable source of care in rural, suburban, island, frontier, and urban communities, including 1 in 5 rural residents. And whereas community health centers address chronic disease and keep Americans healthy by expanding access to coordinated care, reducing the need for costly emergency and hospital visits, and providing integrated services such as oral health, vision, behavioral health, nutrition, and pharmacy. And whereas during the National Health Center Week, we celebrate the dedication, innovation, and impact of nearly 1,500 community health center organizations, their boards, staff, and patients, and honor their vital role in improving health outcomes, strengthening communities, and shaping the future of America's healthcare system. And whereas Sonoma Valley Community Health Care Center exemplifies this mission locally by providing accessible, cultural, responsive, and patient-centered care to the residents of Sonoma Valley, regardless of income or insurance status. Be it resolved that the City Council of City of Sonoma does hereby proclaim August 3rd through 9th, 2025 as National Health Center Week in the City of Sonoma, and encourage all residents to join in recognizing the outstanding contributions of America's community health centers, and most particularly Sonoma Valley Community Health Center, and their dedication to our community. In witness thereof, I have hereunder set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Sonoma to be affixed this 18th day of June, 2025. And so I'm going to ask Jenny Belway, the Development Director for Sonoma Valley Community Health Center, will accept the proclamation. Did you have anything that you would like to say?
No, this is my 5th week there as the development director. My job is actually, to go out in the community and meet everybody I can and really spread the word of what we need and how the kind of support we need to support the part of the Sonoma Valley that we support. And thank you very much for making this proclamation.
Great, I'll be right there to hand it to you, and we'll have a photo. There we go. And now we're going to have a presentation of GIS Cemetery Mapping Project by Intern Eowyn Medeiros. I hope I pronounced that right. So I'm going to ask Carolyn Fulton, our cemetery manager, to come up and provide a brief introduction. Thank you.
Good evening. Carolyn Fulton, cemetery managers for the City of Sonoma. Nice to see all of you again. You may recall at our last cemeteries update, I mentioned briefly that we were doing a GIS mapping project for the historic portion of Mountain Cemetery through a partnership with the Sonoma Valley Historical Society, which began in summer of 2024. We were fortunate enough to have that person return this summer to complete the project under an internship program through the city. I want to take a moment to thank everybody involved in making that happen, including the Sonoma Valley Historical Society, for supporting this partnership and helping getting this project to move forward. Thank you very much. We're very excited to have her here. She's going to share a brief demonstration of the project so you can see how it works in real time and see the significant progress that's been made. But before I introduce her, I want to take just a couple of moments to go over some key reasons as to why we're doing this and why it's so important, both for the public and for the city. One main reason is for record keeping and data management. This is a really, really good way to organize, centralize, secure, and preserve our precious historical data, all important factors to maintaining vital records and data integrity. Having organized digital searchable data means faster response times to families, which means that we're providing better customer service, especially during a difficult time for them. It also reduces the potential for errors and redundancies that are often seen with paper documentation. For the public side, it also offers a user-friendly tool to self-navigate their own familial history or the history of the community and hopefully spark further interest and curiosity in the cemeteries, maybe to get them interested in their own future planning or volunteer opportunities. I've already been able to remotely cross-reference data collected in the field and cross-reference that against some of our physical records to confirm things like burials, questionable monuments, other vital information, without actually the need to physically go and check a site that might otherwise take significantly longer to get to or might be just challenging physically to get through the terrain during certain times of the year. Another reason is planning. This tool can provide a much clearer picture of existing cemetery space. It can help to identify potentially unused inventory that we might not be aware of, plan for future development, and highlight some areas for potential restoration opportunities. This allows us to provide more responsible management for all of the properties, support the goals of the future interment needs for this community, and work to preserve the historical significance of our cemeteries. So with that, I'd like to introduce all of you to our intern, Eowyn Medeiros, who will tell you a little bit about herself and the project and guide us through the demonstration. Thank you for your time.
Hi,
Thank you, Carolyn.
Hi, my name is Eowyn Medeiros. I recently graduated from Berea College in Kentucky with an archaeology degree, which is how I wound up doing this project for the Historical Society last year. I did this project through a survey. I originally had a small team of volunteers with the Historical Society, and we worked together in the field, and then and sometimes we would then work on the database back at the Historical Society. This year I've had the opportunity to work with the city and further the database into this website that I can show you guys in just a minute, and start working on the other public-run cemeteries in town. So this is the public-facing side of the database. Carolyn, or rather whoever is the cemetery manager at the time, will have access to more information that is not public, so that anything private that a family might not want available won't be seen by the public, but then you can still find a lot of good information online. So this is the opening screen. I'm still workshopping what exactly the message will be, but there will be a short welcome message with instructions on how to exit the welcome panel. It's a simple click, which brings you to the Mountain Cemeteries map. You can zoom in with either these buttons in the corner or your mouse, and when you zoom you see that there are multiple gravestones with little blue halos. Up in this rightmost corner there is a legend that you can click that shows you the different signs. There are headstones, mausoleums, different water faucets, signs, and other marks that might be shown. The halos behind these headstones would show if there is a decedent who we have information on. So that would be the deceased person who is staying there, because some of these grave markers are not in fact associated with a person on record. This would be specifically in areas where something is more worn down and I could not read who is on there, or that information is lost to time, or at least lost until you find the exact right archival record. If you click the next button, this is the feature info, so this tells you the specific information about the feature that you're looking at. So I could click on this headstone. There will be both a pop-up window and this right window here that tells you, this is the Burnworth companion stone. There is a photo of the two. If I click through, I can then see the information about both people buried in this area. If I click on the next button, this takes me to the bookmarks tab, so I can see the different locations that I can quickly zoom to. This is the Mountain Cemetery bookmark, so you can see the whole Mountain Cemetery. There's the Valley Cemetery in the other side of town with the historic and the annex section specifically. And then there's also the Veterans Cemetery, which is part of the Mountain Cemetery. The next layer, or the next button, would show you the map layers, which are best seen if I zoom out. So roads and parking, it's rather simple. That shows you where you can take your car in the cemetery, because not all paths are car safe, or, even meant to be car accessible. So that turns on and it shows you all of the paved areas. I'm still workshopping exactly how I will distinguish what is supposed to be a road versus parking. So this is the preliminary version, and it's also over the valley as well. King map areas, this is specifically related to records held in the Sonoma Valley Historical Society. This was generated from a survey that was started in the 90s that I then picked up and completed. So this relates to those records. And then cemetery record areas relates to the official record areas, so that if someone knows that their family member is buried in A1 of the annex, they can then locate A1 and move from there. This last one is the information tab, which has information on how to use different search features, the official summaries of each cemetery on the actual city's website right now. This got messed up earlier, need to fix that. And then some information just on how this was done and what different terms mean. Over here on the left is a search panel. I'm going to turn off the record areas. Is a search panel where you can search almost any information and find whoever is relating to that. So if I were to search the name Vallejo, it would then bring up all of the different people who are related to the name Vallejo. So there are different people with the name, and then there's the cemetery plot itself. And if I click, not only does it highlight, but it zooms me to where that information is. If I was to search companion stone, which is a common term for people who are then buried with their partner or with a different family member, it brings up the different individuals. And then if I scroll further down, okay, it's just bringing up the different, there's a lot of companion stones. If it were showing everything at this moment, it would also bring up the different grave markers themselves, and you could see that. So it can take you to the different individuals there. On this bottom, there is a tab that pulls up the table, in which people can view a lot more information than just if they were to search through here, because this will show you all of the records. And in the info tab, there are instructions on how to filter according to what you need to search. So I have not yet finished the survey work that is being done, so everything that has a little headstone has been completed, but as you can see, there are still some columns that have yet to be completed. But so far, this is the website. This is almost completed to be released to the public.
Thank you very much. I don't know if any other people here, but I have been to many cemeteries searching for relatives, and it is not easy. And this makes it very, very easy. So it really is a great service to people. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this work. It's great. Carolyn, you're back up again.
I guess I am. I was not prepared to be back up here. But as you can see, I started with the Sonoma Mountain Historic Cemetery. So you can see it is expanded to all of our cemeteries, which was really a surprise to us, and we were grateful that she could come back. You can see the powerfulness of this. I think it's going to be a fun tool to play around with and familiar with it. And I think at this point, we welcome any feedback. But at this point, I think we're just excited to get it as completed as we possibly can and try to fill in any blank spots or any data that we need to correct.
So let's just take a few minutes to see if the council has any questions or comments that they would like to make. Yes, Councilwoman Lowe.
It just, obviously, congratulations, this is great, and just want to remind people that a couple years ago, there was a grand jury report regarding the Sonoma cemeteries, and the amount of progress that has been made, even greater than the issues that were addressed in that report. This is in excess and superbly done, more than they even asked us to do. So I just think it's something that we have to remember where we were and how far we've gone. And congratulations to everyone for being part of that project, because this is something so important to all of our families in Sonoma. Thank you.
Councilmember Wellander and Vice Mayor Wellander.
How about Ron? Question. So you're not done. Are you going to be able to stick with us to get 100% done?
So I left the Historic Valley Cemetery for last because I knew that would take the longest. It's in the worst shape out of everything I had left after the mountain cemetery. The historic mountain cemetery was done. So it depends on how poor the records for that area already are. There are some records that I will be going through, and I will have to correct at least some of them. I don't know how many. And in addition, I still have to document the mausoleums and the columbariums in the cemeteries. And I am behind the scenes, so it wouldn't be accessible on this, connecting the cemetery's record system to this new system that's more searchable and more user-friendly. So I don't know if it'll be 100% done, but anything that won't be done will be easily completable.
Well, Sonoma is a nice town to hang out in, so if it takes a little bit longer, I would welcome you to. The other question I have is then, is it the intent as the deceased are added to any one of the three cemeteries that that information would just simply be added, so this is an ongoing tool?
Correct.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Great. And I think we have an introduction next.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to invite the Historic Society representative to come up. Is it? Oh, thank you. Charlotte, thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Charlotte Galloway. I'm the Vice President of the Sonoma Valley Historical Society. Last year, our Board of Directors nominated the City of Sonoma to receive the County Historical Society's Mariano Vallejo Government Award for its partnership with the Sonoma Valley Historical Society in developing the Sonoma Mountain Cemetery database and website, the project we've just finished hearing about. We're so pleased that the city chose to continue this work by having Eowyn intern again this summer to complete the project. And I, along with three other board members, and on behalf of Patricia, the president of the Historical Society, who could be here tonight, I'm here to present that award to the city and express our gratitude for that partnership. And of course, to publicly thank Eowyn and her volunteers, as well as her school, Berea College in Kentucky, for funding that internship last summer. These partnerships are just essential to the work that we are doing at the Historical Society, collecting, preserving, and sharing the history of the Valley. So thank you all from the Sonoma Valley Historical Society. And I have a word here to present the city.
Yes, thank you so much. I mean, anybody who's walked through that cemetery understands the historic value of understanding who is there, because there's so much that you can read, and then you know there's those that you can't read, and you're just going, who might this be? So it's great, great. All right. So now we're going to move on to the item 7, our consent calendar. And at this point, I just want to ask if anybody on council would like to pull any of the items from the consent calendar? No. And then at this point, I would ask if there's anybody in the public that would like to comment on the consent calendar. So seeing...
Madam Mayor, if I can, I believe there were some revisions
yes.
to the minutes. I just wanted to...
Exactly. Thank you.
Make sure that the public was aware. I think it was the July 16th minutes. There should be a revised version for you on the dais and in the back for the public as well. So
Correct.
I think the request would be, if there's a motion, would be to approve the consent agenda as amended, and that amendment would relate to the regular meeting minutes of July.
Yes, so do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar with the amended items?
I move approval of the consent calendar with the amended items related to the July, what was the date?
16th minutes.
The
16th.
July 16th minutes. Thank you very much.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, and that passes unanimously. And so at this point, since we have no public hearing, we actually do not have any regular calendar items. So at this point, we are actually closing the meeting for this evening. So thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Good night.
We're adjourning it. Thank you.